Hey Internet, my name is Debbie and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program on Wings. At first, the usual update. As you can see, the Duna supply was overtaken by the Joule supply, and the Duna supply has just reached the distance of Minmus, whereas the Joule supply is almost out of the Kerbal sphere of influence. And our other both missions are still on their way up to their destinations, and they are a little bit more farther away from Kerbin than before, but not so much as a huge distance as you might have expected. But this is due to the fact that the flight from our Mune base until its landing was only about 6 hours or so, so it's not so much time passed since our last update. And yeah, that's why there isn't so much of a change. Okay, today is at first we want to set our science station as a target because at first we want to throttle up and switch on SAS, and I will explain it to you later in 3, 2, 1 and lift off. Okay, we are here with Sidhert Kerman. Sidhert Kerman is sitting in the bigger capsule where 3 men can, or 3 Kerbal can take place and find place. And what the thing is basically a rescue pod, because I was already talking about this, that I haven't anything up in space at my science station that can be used to rescue my Kerbals if anything goes wrong, or if the Kerbals have to return back home to the surface of Kerbin. That's why I'm launching this mission right now with Sidhead on board. So I have a capsule there where at least 3 Kerbals can jump in. So currently one Kerbin is up at the science station, or Sidhead will join him, and so we have 2 guys sitting there. So I have at least 1 additional spot if something goes wrong and I need to evacuate a 3rd Kerbal, and if not, I have at least enough space for 2 Kerbals. And by sending Sidhead up into space, I could have done this as well with a robotic mission. I am able to use the science the science base, the science lab, maybe for robotic missions or so on, so I don't need to launch another Kerbal up into space, and I'm also not required to come there with a manned mission. So I can also dock with a robotic mission up to the science station and do some science recovery and anything else. And this is mostly why I'm launching currently Sidhead into space and up to the science station. And yeah, this is basically what we want to do right now. We want to have a rescue pod up there. The rescue pod itself is equipped with RCS, with a little fuel tank, so it's able to kill its orbital velocity and return back to the surface of Kerbin, and also to maybe fly a little bit around and have some usage as a space tug. So if I need to dock something to my science station that is not equipped with RCS, I am able to use my rescue pod and use it as a space tug to dock something to the science station. And yeah, so it's a universal thing I can use for many different things. And yeah, we are currently launching into space, and the next thing I like to do is doing my satellite. The same satellite I've sent into space around Kerbin to research a little bit the, what was it, gravitator, or no, was it the gravity or something like this? I'm not quite sure what the instrument is exactly measuring. I've completely forget this. I like to send the satellite also up into space around, or into an orbit around the Mune, so I can research a little bit the Mune. And this will be the second part of today's episode. And after I've done this, I think the next part will be our coverage of the approach of our, on the one hand, maybe Duna constellation, because then I'm a little bit running out of things I can do in the near orbit around Kerbin or with any Mune of Kerbin. So I think this is the next thing I like to do, is to skip a little bit ahead in time, so we can have the arrival of our Duna constellation or if I'm running into a new launch window to Eve, Dress, Moho, Elo, whatever, I will be bringing you in when we do a launch to this planet or this celestial body. I'm currently not sure what will happen at first, if at first my Duna constellation will arrive, or if we have another launch window to anything, to any other celestial body. We will see when I'm doing my jump in time, and whatever it will be, I will bring you back in, and we will launch a new spacecraft to a different celestial body, or we will see the arrival of the Duna constellation around Duna. But this will happen in the next episode. This episode, as I said, is mostly about bringing up the rescue pod. And wait, when I launch this high enough, can I already do a 3 kilometers, 2, 1, less than 1 kilometer, 800 meters. This is great, this is great. So I have already prepared my rendezvous. I just need to accelerate enough so I can rendezvous right away. This is amazing. This is great. This is a great approach to my science station. So we have already in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes we have our rendezvous. And it's getting a little bit fast. Oh no, in 10 minutes. This is great. This is really amazing. Okay, so yeah, I think because we are already aiming for our rendezvous, maybe I will keep this fuel tank a little bit. Let's set here our maneuver node so we can see this coming while we are doing our time warp. Let's see, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, okay, 2.5 minutes. So the station is catching up to us. This is good. Now I need to make sure that come on, turn back in the other side. At the one thing, I need to accelerate a bit, and I need to ditch my other stage before it's not able to return back to Kerbal, because I don't want to insert it into an orbit. Okay, come on. Here we are. Okay, very good. And let's ditch this. I hope it won't run into my science stations. This would be now... Oh, I need to enable the engine. I hope this is not a crash. This would be really, really bad. Okay, we need to accelerate even more to maybe... We are still 16 kilometers away. So 80, 70, maybe 50 meters per second, like now. Oh, Sidhead is smiling. Sidhead Kerman is smiling. This is good. He is enjoying his ride. This is amazing. Let's have where do we have? Goodbye this thing. Why we are so different? Have I done something wrong? Okay, I think I need to adjust a little bit my orbit. Let's turn this thing, the retrograde vector, a little bit over to here. Okay, now let's do a bit time warp. Okay, we are now almost parallel to the science station. This is not so good. This is not a very good or a very efficient rendezvous. This is bad. This is really bad. I thought it would be much better. I should have waited with my burn, as I thought I need to brake a little bit. Okay. Whoa. Now let's start to burn towards the station. I think we are doing a little bit like a dogleg or so. This is not the very efficient approach. And let's come to a stop like now. And we need to fast forward a bit in time as we are coming to, closer to the science station. Okay, only 2.7 kilometers. Let's start to play a bit around with our approach. We want to do a direct approach with it. Okay, this is looking better. And one additional important feature, this rescue pod has a docking port on each side of it. So the good thing of this is, if I'm docking to the science station, I'm not losing any docking ports because the science station currently has 3 docking ports, and with the double docking port on both sides of my rescue pod, I'm still having 3 docking ports, so I'm still able to dock to my science station. And with 3 different spacecrafts, which is really important to me because I was also thinking about launching a second or some kind of docking hub into space, so I can extend the docking capabilities of my science station. But I think in this case I'm still very well prepared with 3 docking ports. I think this is good enough to be ready to let enough spacecraft dock to my science station if I really need to. Okay, here we are coming. I think I need to slow down a bit even more. So to maybe 11 meters per second. This is good. As we are approaching our science station. And Sidhead is enjoying this. This is good. That he's smiling and looking forward to meet his friend up here on the science station. Okay, now let's slow down even more. And 50 meters. 40 meters. Okay, this is good enough. Let's set this thing as our target. And let's switch over to the docking. And switch on RCS to brake a little bit. Now let's come the usual process of aligning ourselves with the docking ports. So it at first we need to fly a little bit parallel to the station until we are aligned with the docking port. And then we need just to turn towards the docking port, and then we have equipped our science station also with a rescue pod, just in case that anything goes wrong or we need to bring back our Kerbals to the surface. Because for any reason, then we are well prepared. This is very important because safety first in all cases, safety first. So now turn toward the docking port. And SAS on. And we are floating toward it. Only a few meters. And the ladder is pointing upwards. This is important, or this is good, so my Kerbals don't need to search for a way to board the capsule. They just have to float down, and then they can jump into the capsule and leave the science station if anything is going wrong, and getting rescued or returning back home. Okay, just a few meters or a few centimeters, and we have contact and docking confirmed. Very good. Sidhead is now united with Jetmai, so we can now, or he can go now on the EVA. And let go. Oh, I haven't checked how much time has passed since the launch. but I think it was a pretty fast approach to the science station. Let's have a quick look. We are currently here, and here's the Kerbal Space Center. So we have only used half an orbit to align or to rendezvous with our science station and to dock to it. This is really great. Okay, let's have a short view. Sidhead and Jetmai Kerman are enjoying their ride. They are seeing the sun. They are not seeing Kerbin. Or are you seeing Kerbin? Oh yes, he's seeing the ocean of Kerbin. This is good. So, amazing. Now I have two Kerbals on board. They can jump in the mobile processing lab if they need to and make sure that a robotic mission is also in good shape. That's why I like to have two Kerbals on board. Now I can arm... Well, all the fuel tanks are full, so I don't need this upper launch stage. I can decouple it and switch to it while it's floating away. Switch to staging. And it's floating away, and we are turning toward the retrograde vector. And we are turning to the retrograde vector, like this. Okay, now let's throttle up. So we are getting rid of the space debris, like now. Okay, this thing is going down, and we will meet us again on the launch pad, because, as I said, next up is research satellite, so stay tuned. Okay, here we are again on the launch pad, and we do our launch in 3, 2, 1, and lift off. Okay, the research satellite is pretty much the same thing as I've launched up into an orbit around Kerbin. The only or most significant difference is that this satellite has a bigger fuel tank, because I need to have enough fuel not to only come back from the orbit around Kerbin, but also to come back from the moon. So I need at least enough fuel to send myself on a return trajectory from the moon after I've orbited around the moon and I've gathered enough information about the moon. So this is why I like to, or why I added this a little bit bigger fuel tank, so I have enough fuel to return back home. And all the other parts are pretty much the same. It still has some parachutes, so it can return back into the atmosphere of Kerbin and finally have hopefully a splashdown. And we can bring back, or we can gather some good data and some good science from the moon. After we're done, now I can check out. I totally forgot how this kind of science was called. Let me check. It was gravity data. I was right. Oh no, I can throttle up because we are already in the good altitude. Goodbye booster stages. And this thing is pretty light, so my launch stage can shoot this thing almost into orbit. It's pretty fast. This is very amazing. And yeah, so I hope I have enough fuel in this upper launch stage, so it's probably able to bring myself up to the moon and insert ourselves into a lunar orbit without running out of fuel. This would be rather unfortunate if this happens, then I have to adjust, but I hope this has enough fuel so I can do all these operations, because at least the satellite itself is pretty light, so I think it has enough oomph to do so. But right now we are focusing on going into space, so... and... goodbye booster stages. Oh, they are exploding, they are falling apart. Okay. This is maybe unfortunate, I'm not sure. At least we won't reuse these booster stages, so it's okay that they run into each other, but it's pretty close to my rocket, so this could be even unfortunate if they're running into my rocket. Maybe I have to improve a little bit my launch stage to make sure that this thing isn't happening again. Okay, now we can focus even more on a gravity turn. We can turn around a bit more. And yeah. Oh, we should put this thing out. Where's the moon? The moon is over there. Okay, we need to do at least an orbit around Kerbal, or almost an orbit around Kerbal, before we can insert ourselves into a trajectory towards the moon. And right now we are just needing to accelerate enough and to raise our apoapsis high enough so we can coast the rest of the way. I like to again bring my apoapsis to a nice round number, like 100 kilometers, before I will cut my engines and coast up to this altitude and insert myself into a circular orbit around Kerbal. As you can see, here is still the science station probe, so this is the upper stage of my rescue pod launch. It's still going down. We are just finished with this thing as we are doing now the second launch. Okay, here is our apoapsis. Let's do again the maneuver trick so we are sure when we are there. Let's first... Oh, we can't fast forward right now because we are still below 70 kilometers. We need to wait a little bit until we are high enough. I thought I would be much higher already. Okay, so the thing is very powerful and the satellite is pretty light, so okay, I'm not used to it to launch these light things into space. After I've done my supply missions up to Joule and to Duner, and these missions were pretty heavy with a lot of fuel, so in this case this is pretty unusual to launch such a light thing like the satellite, even though it's going up to the moon. Okay, now the same thing again. I need to make sure that this thing doesn't get too fast. Okay, I hope it's still able, because it has the separatons, that it's not staying into an orbit. Okay, let's raise up the periapsis a bit to also around 100 kilometers. And stop. Okay, very good. Now we need to aim for the moon, set our moon as a target, and probably around here or so in 5 minutes already. This would be cool. Ooh. Maybe like this. Yeah, this should be good enough. 100 kilometers, I'm okay with it. I can adjust my orbit later on, or wait, I can play a little bit around, maybe a little bit faster. Okay, like this, 185, still a little bit high. And come on, this is too low right now. Maybe like this, because I like to bring my satellite into a polar orbit around the moon, and we have the burn. Are you sure? 2 minutes? I'm not quite sure if that's really 2 minutes. At least we can do a fast forward, and I want to do the burn 1 minute before the maneuver node. Okay, let's come here to a stop, and oh, I'm totally missing some reaction wheels. It's turning very, very slowly. This is not so good. But I think we are still able to do this. Come on, turn back, turn back. Yeah. Here we go, very good. And let's throttle up. Yeah, it's really 2 minutes. Oh, I haven't expected something like this, that this is taking so much time. Okay, while we are accelerating, we don't regenerate or recharge our batteries, so I think I should extend my solar panels, and I can also extend my antenna. So this is looking much better. This is looking almost like a satellite already. This is great. Okay, and I think, yeah, this upper stage has enough oomph to bring us to the moon. and also to insert ourselves into an orbit around the moon, and finally to drop back and to impact the moon. So we can even measure some seismic activities. This is great because we have our moon base standing around, and the moon base is equipped with seismic measurement equipment, so they can wait for the impact and measure it and get some more useful data about the interior of the moon, and to get some more science. This would be really cool if this would be a good idea for having something stationary on the surface of a celestial body. If you're doing some experiments with impacts on the moon, you can generate some science by doing some impacts on the moon with sending some probes up there who will crash into the surface, and then you get some science points because you have some tools standing around which will record the impact and get us some useful data about the interior of the celestial body. This would be a great idea if we can do something like this. Okay, goodbye maneuver node, and let's bring this thing a little bit closer. So like, maybe like this. Okay, and as I said, I like to have a polar orbit. Can I, when I'm doing this right here, or when do I need, because if I'm doing this midway, no, maybe I need to accelerate a bit. Yes, that's good. If I'm doing it during my approach towards the moon, I can do this with a lesser amount of delta V compared to if I'm doing this directly at the moon, because right now I'm changing from a equatorial orbit to a 100 kilometers. This is amazing. This is what I want. To this, I only need 40 meters per second to change my trajectory or my orbit by 90 degrees. This is great. Or I'm changing my orbit plane by 90 degrees. Okay, because the thing is turning very slowly, I want to turn myself toward the maneuver node right away before I start to do the fast forward. Come on, turn back. This is really slow. Okay. So, like this is good. Now, let's do the fast forward session. We need to fast forward for 1 hour. And let's slow down a bit. 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And let's do the quick burn to change our trajectory. And stop. What have we done so far? Yes, we have done what I like to have to be done. And it's, yes, 90 kilometers is still very good. And it's almost a polar orbit. Can I turn it even more a bit around? This looks pretty amazing. Maybe I can turn it even more a bit like this. This is, if I eyeball it, it's pretty much what I want to have. Okay, maybe like this. This is good. So now we need to approach the moon. So what we want to see, Kerbal or moon? Oh, this time we want to see the moon coming closer. So let's do a fast forward in time. And in this way we are inserting ourselves into a polar orbit around the moon. This is really amazing, because I like to do my research satellite in a polar orbit around the moon. Okay, now we have switched our sphere of influence. We are now orbiting the moon, and okay, I want to have it at this position. I want to enter an orbit, maybe 100 by 100. So let's get the periapsis at first down to 100 kilometers. Okay, very good. Can we already do some science? Let me see. Log gravity data. Gravity scan widen high space over the Mune's Midlands. Okay, 60 science. Ooh. If I return the thing, this spring gives me a lot of science. This is amazing. Okay. Let's first forward. And are we here already in a different biome? Let's check this out. No, I don't want to use this. I want to use log gravity data. Mune's Midlands. Okay, still Mune's Midlands. Oh, before I fast forward, I should at first turn my spacecraft towards the maneuver node. And I think if I'm doing these polar orbits, see, normally we are seeing the celestial bodies from an equatorial orbit, and to see a celestial body from the poles is all the time completely different, because you know, or you are aware of the shape of the celestial body from a normal view, and seeing it from a completely different view gives you a completely different image of the celestial body. I really like this. Okay, now I'm aligned with my maneuver node. Now I can approach the Mune without hopefully overshooting. Okay. And now we're here. Let's lock gravity. High space over Mune's Highlands. Okay, keep this. This is great. Can we see Kerbal somewhere? Yes, we can. And we see the Mune down there. And now it's time to do the burn. Very good, very good. Okay. Let's check it out if we are over a new biome. Mune's Highlands. Okay, still Mune's Highlands. So nothing new. And stop. So what have we done? 90 kilometers. Well, 90 kilometers is good as well. Let's add here a maneuver node because I want to 95, 92. I think this is good. There we want to do our next burn, and while we are waiting for our maneuver node to arrive, we can on the one side do science. Still Mune's Highlands. Okay. We want to search for the maneuver node, and I have more than enough fuel. Okay, why I was concerned that I have not enough fuel in my spacecraft. It's more than enough. Okay, maneuver node, where are you? There you are. Okay. Don't overshoot. Okay, we are overshooting a bit. We're overshooting more than a bit. Log gravity data. Mune's Highlands, okay. The Mune's Highlands are a huge area, I think. Okay, like this. This is good. And now we can do first forward. Okay, where are we now? Log gravity data. Mune's Midlands. We have already done Mune's Midlands. Am I on a wrong or a bad trajectory? Because I'm not seeing so much different biomes. And what is this? Mune's Midlands. Okay, I think maybe this trajectory is not so useful as I anticipated. Maybe I should have used an equatorial. Mune's Midlands. Okay. So maybe I should also later on lower my periapsis a bit, or my complete orbit, so I'm orbiting also different locations. Okay, are we now in a different biome? Log gravity beta. Mune's poles. Okay, we are over Mune's poles. Let's keep it. And 5, 3, 2, 1. So like this. And do the burn. And stop. Okay, we have a nice and circular orbit. The satellite is in place. And let's see, are we no? Review data, no. Log gravity data, Mune's Highlands, okay. I'm over the poles, I'm over Mune's Highlands or Mune's Midlands, so I'm not sure if this is really productive what I've done so far. Are we coming over? Oh yes, we're coming here across we're coming across a thing, a crater. Okay, where are we now? Maybe I need to lower my periapsis later on. Mune's Midlands, okay. So I think the only way to get some more data is by lowering it, so that we are coming across maybe maybe in near space over the biome. This could give us some additional science data. Let's check this again. Mune's Midlands, okay. This isn't really productive as I anticipated. Then at least get this crater over here. Hope we are now over this crater. Log gravity data over Mune's polar crater. Okay, now let's keep this data. So at least we have done some science. And I think this wraps up today's episode. We will do an approach, or we will lower our orbit around the Moon in our next episode. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked this, please do all the important YouTube stuff like commenting, liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. And I hope I see you again in the next episode. As I said, maybe the approach to Duna, or maybe the launch to a different different celestial body. It's depending whether we have the Duna encounter at first, or we have a launch window. So until next time, my name is Abby. See you!